The morning started like any other. I made coffee, stared at the sunlight streaming through the window, and listened to the soft hum of the world waking up. But then my phone rang, and everything shifted. It was Clara. I could hear her voice quivering on the other end, and I knew something was wrong. "Are you sitting down?" she asked, her voice laced with urgency. "Clara, what's going on?" My heart raced. I saw Ethan with someone else. They were together. A cold wave washed over me. I felt my heart sink as I absorbed her words. Betrayal, a word I had never wanted to associate with Ethan, now echoed in my mind. How could this happen? The man I loved, the one I trusted, had shattered my world in an instant. "Are you sure?" I whispered, my voice barely audible. "I wish I wasn't," Clara replied, her pain matching my own. "But I saw them. I thought you should know." Memories flooded back, each one sharper than the last. Our first date when he smiled at me, the way he held my hand as if he would never let go. The laughter we shared, the intimate moments that now felt tainted by his deceit. Each recollection twisted in my gut, leading to a storm brewing inside me, a battle between heartbreak and rising fury. How could the man I loved betray me like this? My mind raced with questions, each one more painful than the last. What did this mean for my future? Was everything we had just a lie? I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. "Do you know who she is?" I managed to ask, clinging to the hope that it was a misunderstanding. "Her name is Lila." "I can't believe he would do this to you," Clara said, her voice filled with sympathy. Lila. The name felt foreign yet familiar, like a shadow lurking in the corners of my mind. I thought of the times Ethan worked late, the excuses that now seemed flimsy. As I pieced together the puzzle, anger began to bubble up inside me. How could he? "I need to see him," I said, my voice firm despite the tremor in my hands. "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Clara cautioned. I hesitated, but deep down, I knew I had to confront him. I needed answers, and more than that, I needed to reclaim my own sense of reality. "Yeah, I have to," I replied. "I can't let this define me, not now." As I hung up the phone, an internal battle raged within me. I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff, about to make a leap into the unknown. Would I break down, or would I rise and confront the truth? Thoughts raced through my mind like a whirlwind. Did he ever really love me? Or was I just a convenient distraction? I could feel the tears pricking at the corners of my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Not now. Not when I was just beginning to realize how deeply I had been deceived. I glanced at the mirror, and for a moment, I didn't recognize the woman staring back at me. The reflection showed a mix of confusion and pain, but beneath it, I sensed a flicker of strength. I needed clarity, not just about Ethan, but about who I was becoming. With a deep breath, I wiped away the tears that threatened to spill over. I could either let this destroy me or use it to fuel a fire within. I chose the latter. As I prepared to face Ethan, I knew this was just the beginning. I was not just fighting for my relationship, I was fighting for myself. The thought of confronting him sent a shiver down my spine. Would I find the answers I sought, or would I be met with more lies? I steeled myself for the path ahead, determined to uncover the truth and reclaim my heart. With Clara by my side, I felt a strange mix of anger and determination. We sat at my kitchen table, surrounded by emptiness and silence, but I could feel the weight of my heart pushing me forward. "We need to gather evidence," Clara said, her voice steady and strong. I nodded, knowing she was right. I had to confront Ethan, but first, I needed proof of his betrayal. As I opened my laptop, my fingers trembled slightly. I felt like a detective in a movie, searching for clues to solve a mystery. Clara leaned over my shoulder, her eyes scanning the screen. "Start with his messages. You know he always leaves his phone unlocked," she suggested. I hesitated for a moment, but then I remembered how his betrayal had turned my world upside down. I needed to do this. I clicked on the messaging app, and there it was, his conversations with her. My heart raced as I read the words that felt like daggers piercing through my chest. "I can't wait to see you again," one message read, followed by a heart emoji. My stomach twisted, and I could feel tears welling up in my eyes. "How could he?" I whispered, anger bubbling inside me. "Focus, girl," Clara said, snapping me back to reality. "You need to see this for what it is. You're stronger than him." I took a deep breath, letting her words settle in my mind. She was right. This wasn't just about him. It was about me reclaiming my life. As I continued to scroll, I stumbled upon photographs, pictures of them together, smiling at each other. It felt like a punch to the gut. I used to think that smile was only for me. "Look at this," I said, showing Clara the screen. "He's so happy with her." Clara's eyes narrowed as she examined the image. "He doesn't deserve that happiness. You know that, right?" I nodded, but inside I felt a storm brewing. I can't believe I trusted him. I was so blind. I remembered the moments we shared, the laughter and love, and now they felt tainted. I could almost hear Ethan's voice, sweet and comforting, but now it felt like a lie. "What was I thinking?" I asked, frustration creeping into my voice. "Stop blaming yourself. He's the one who betrayed you," Clara said firmly. "This is about finding your strength. You were once so confident, full of life. Where did that woman go?" Her words hit me like a wave, bringing back memories of a happier time. I could see her, the woman I used to be, filled with joy and passion. I had let Ethan's disrespect mask who I was. "I want to be her again," I said softly, my resolve starting to grow. "I'm tired of feeling broken. I need to bring her back to life." Clara smiled, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "Then let's do it together. You're not alone in this." As we continued to gather evidence, I felt a new fire ignite within me. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about reclaiming my identity. I was ready to fight for myself, to dig deep and discover the woman I had lost. The anger I felt transformed into determination. I would not let Ethan's actions define me any longer. "We need a plan," I said, my voice steady. "I want to confront him, but I want to do it on my terms." Clara nodded, her enthusiasm matching my own. "Absolutely. Let's show him the real you, the woman he took for granted." We spent the rest of the day gathering every piece of evidence we could find. I could feel my heart racing with each message, each photo. But with each discovery, a sense of empowerment began to wash over me. I was taking control of my life, and it felt exhilarating. As evening fell, I looked at Clara, a sense of purpose coursing through me. I won't let him break me. I will rise from this stronger than ever. Clara smiled, her eyes sparkling with pride. "That's the spirit. Let's unleash that fire within you." In that moment, I realized that this journey was not just about revenge. It was about self-discovery. I was ready to reclaim my life, to become the woman I had always been. And with Clara by my side, I felt more empowered than ever. I sat in Clara's living room, the weight of her revelation still heavy in my chest. I had spent hours digging through Ethan's life, and now we had stumbled upon Lila. Lila, his former co-worker, the woman I had never thought twice about. Clara's voice broke through my thoughts. "You know, this isn't just about Ethan, right? It's about you, too." I nodded, still trying to process what I had learned. "I know, but it feels like a punch to the gut. He never cared for me the way I deserved." My voice trembled with anger, and I felt a wave of betrayal wash over me again. "Look at the pattern, though," Clara said, leaning closer to me. "Ethan has always treated women like toys. He plays with their feelings, and then he tosses them aside when he's done. You're not the first. and you won't be the last." The rage inside me grew. How could I have been so blind? I loved him, and he just used me. I clenched my fists, feeling a fire ignite within me. I need to confront him. I need to show him that I am worth more than he ever realized. Clara smiled, a proud glint in her eyes. That's the spirit. But it's not just about confronting him. It's about rising above his manipulation. You need to reclaim your power. I took a deep breath, feeling the determination surge through me. You're right. This is not just revenge. It's about finding myself again. I thought about all the moments Ethan and I shared, the laughter and the love that now felt tainted. I want to be the woman he never appreciated. I want to show him what he lost. As we continued our investigation into Ethan's past, I uncovered more about Lila. She was charming, confident, and had a way of making people feel special. He probably fell for her charm, I muttered, bitterness creeping into my voice. Don't let her get to you, Clara warned. You are not defined by his choices. Remember, you're stronger than this. I nodded, but the sting of jealousy lingered. I had to remind myself that I was not competing with Lila. I need to focus on me, I said firmly. I want to become someone who walks into a room and commands respect. I won't let Ethan's betrayal define my worth. Clara beamed at me. That's the attitude. Let's make a plan. First, we'll gather all the evidence, and then we'll work on your transformation. The thought of transforming myself excited me. I could feel the pieces of my old self beginning to stir, buried deep beneath the pain and hurt. It was time to bring her back to life. I want to hit the gym, change my style, and work on my confidence. I want to feel powerful again. Let's do it, Clara exclaimed, her energy contagious. We'll start tomorrow. I'll help you with workouts, and we can go shopping for some outfits that make you feel amazing. I smiled, feeling a flicker of hope. I want to wear clothes that make me feel like I'm stepping into my power. Exactly. We'll throw away everything that reminds you of Ethan. This is a fresh start. I felt a rush of excitement. The idea of shedding the old me and stepping into a new identity felt liberating. I thought about the woman I used to be, confident, full of life, and unapologetically myself. I can do this, I whispered, feeling the resolve settle in my chest. Of course you can, Clara replied, her enthusiasm infectious. This journey is about becoming the best version of you. It's not just about him anymore. As we continued planning, I felt a shift inside me. I was no longer the victim of Ethan's betrayal. I was ready to take charge of my life. By confronting him, I would not only reclaim my power, but also redefine who I was meant to be. This was the beginning of my transformation. I could feel it, and I was ready. I stood in front of the mirror, staring at the reflection of the woman I barely recognized. The weight of Ethan's betrayal pressed down on me like a heavy blanket, but I was determined to shed it, to transform into someone stronger. With Clara's support, I had started this journey, and today was the day I would take it to the next level. Are you ready for this? Clara asked, her voice filled with encouragement behind me. I could see her smiling, her excitement radiating through the small space of my bedroom. I took a deep breath, my heart racing. I think so. I have to be. I can't keep living in the shadow of what he did to me. Exactly, Clara exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. You are so much more than his mistake. Now let's go smash that workout. With that, we headed to the gym. The moment I stepped inside, the atmosphere buzzed with energy. I could hear people laughing and encouraging each other. It felt different from the last time I was here, when I had felt so small and lost. I was ready to reclaim my space. As we moved through the exercises, I could feel my body responding. Each lift of the weights, each sprint on the treadmill was like a small victory. I could almost hear the layers of doubt peeling away. Look at you go! Clara cheered, her voice cutting through the rhythm of the music. You're already stronger than you think. With every drop of sweat, I began to feel lighter. "I never thought I could do this," I admitted between breaths. "I've always depended on Ethan to make me feel good about myself." "That's the past," Clara reminded me. "You're not that girl anymore. You're reclaiming your life, one workout at a time." After what felt like hours, we finished our session, and I couldn't help but smile. My heart raced not from exhaustion, but from empowerment. I was starting to believe in myself again. Later that day, I decided it was time for a new look. I stood in front of the mirror once more, this time with a fresh outfit and a new hairstyle. The reflection looked back at me with a spark I hadn't seen in a long time. "Wow, look at you," Clara said, walking into the room. "You look amazing." "Thanks. I feel like I'm finally becoming myself again," I replied, twirling around. "It's like I'm shedding this old skin that I've been stuck in." "Exactly. You are a strong, independent woman," Clara said, her eyes shining with pride. "And you deserve to feel that way every day." I nodded, feeling the truth of her words wash over me. This was more than just a physical transformation. It was a shift in my mindset. I had spent too long feeling like a victim, but now I was ready to embrace my strength. As the days passed, I continued to work out and focus on myself. Each step forward made me feel lighter, and I could feel my confidence growing. I remembered the woman I used to be, the one who laughed freely, who danced without a care, and who loved deeply. I was starting to find her again. One evening, while sitting on my bed, I looked through old pictures. I saw moments of joy, laughter, and love. But now, instead of feeling sadness, I felt determination. I was ready to bring that woman back to life. "Clara, come look at this," I called out excitedly. She rushed in and I showed her the photos. "This is who I want to be again." She smiled softly. "You are that woman. You just needed to remember it." With each day that passed, I felt more empowered. I was no longer defined by Ethan's actions. I was reclaiming my identity, my power, and my joy. I was becoming the woman I always wanted to be, a woman who commanded respect and confidence, who embraced every part of herself. It was time for a transformation, not just in how I looked, but in how I saw myself. I was ready to take on the world, and I knew that this was just the beginning of my journey. Each workout, each moment of self-reflection was leading me closer to the woman I was meant to be. The night of the confrontation finally arrived, a moment I had both dreaded and longed for. My heart raced as I stood in front of the mirror, taking a deep breath. I had transformed, and tonight, I would show Ethan the woman I had become. The old me, the one he took for granted, was gone. In her place stood a woman filled with strength and resolve. As I walked into the room where Ethan waited, I could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on me. The dim light cast shadows on the walls, and my heart pounded in my chest. I pushed the door open and stepped inside, my eyes fixed on him. Ethan's face turned from surprise to disbelief. "What are you doing here?" he stammered, his voice shaky. I crossed my arms, holding my head high. "I'm here to talk, Ethan. You and I need to have a serious conversation." He shifted uncomfortably in his chair, trying to regain his composure. "I don't think there's anything to discuss. You should just go." "Go?" I echoed, incredulous. "You think you can just brush me off after everything? After what you did?" The air between us crackled with tension. I could see the realization dawning on his face. He was not looking at the woman he once knew. He was looking at someone who knew her worth. "I didn't mean to hurt you," he said, his voice softer now, almost pleading. "It just happened." I took a step closer, my voice steady but filled with emotion. "You didn't mean to hurt me? Do you have any idea how your actions have affected my life? I trusted you, Ethan. I believed in us." His eyes darted away, unable to meet mine. I was confused. I didn't think it would go this far. Confused? I scoffed, anger rising within me. You think that's an excuse? You played with my heart like it was a game. And for what? A fleeting moment of excitement? Ethan looked up, finally meeting my gaze. I know I messed up. I'm sorry. Can't we just forget about this? Forget? I laughed, a bitter sound that filled the room. Do you think I can just forget the pain you caused? The nights I spent wondering what was wrong with me? The moments I felt completely alone? He opened his mouth to respond, but I raised my hand to silence him. No, Ethan. This isn't about you. This is about me reclaiming my power. I am not the same woman you deceived. I have grown stronger, and I refuse to be your victim any longer. His expression shifted from shock to something darker, maybe regret or fear. What do you want from me? I took a deep breath, steadying myself. I want you to understand the gravity of what you did. I want you to see the woman you threw away and realize that you will never have her back. For a moment, silence enveloped us. I could feel the weight of my words hanging in the air, and it felt good. I was finally expressing the hurt that had been bottled up inside me for so long. Ethan, you thought I was nothing without you, but now I know that my worth isn't tied to you. I am capable of so much more. He stared at me, his expression unreadable. What if I want another chance? I shook my head, a small smile creeping onto my lips. You had your chance, and you threw it away. I deserve better than that. I deserve someone who values me, not just someone who uses me. As I turned to leave, I felt a surge of freedom wash over me. I had confronted my past, faced the source of my pain, and emerged stronger. The emotional release was cathartic, and I knew I was reclaiming my life. Wait, Ethan called out, his voice thick with emotion. I paused but didn't turn around. I hope you find what you're looking for, Ethan, but it won't be with me. With those final words, I stepped out of the room, leaving behind the weight of betrayal. I walked away knowing I had taken back my power, ready to embrace my new beginning. As I walked away from Ethan that night, my heart was lighter than it had been in months. The confrontation had been intense, filled with hurt and anger, but in that moment, I felt a sense of closure wash over me. Standing in the cool night air, I took a deep breath, letting the chill invigorate my spirit. I was finally free. Clara, I whispered into my phone, my voice shaky but filled with relief. I did it. I confronted him. Oh, thank goodness, Clara replied, her excitement evident. How do you feel? I feel liberated, I said, a smile breaking across my face. I can finally see the light ahead of me. As I walked through the quiet streets, I reflected on everything I had gone through. I remembered the days filled with doubt and sadness, where I questioned my worth and my place in the world. I thought of the woman I used to be, full of confidence and joy. I had let Ethan's betrayal bury that woman under layers of pain, but now I was reclaiming her. Do you remember that time we went to the beach? I asked Clara, nostalgia creeping in. I was so happy, laughing and running into the waves. I want to feel that way again. Of course I remember. You looked so free and alive, Clara said, her voice warm. You can be that way again, you know. I know, I said, my heart swelling with determination. I've realized that my worth isn't tied to Ethan's actions. I am strong, and I deserve to be happy. As I walked, I could feel the weight of my past lifting. Every step felt lighter, like I was shedding a heavy coat that had clung to me for too long. I was ready to embrace my future, to write my own story filled with strength and love. When I got home, I stood in front of the mirror. I looked at my reflection and saw a woman who had fought through pain and emerged stronger. I reached up and touched my hair, still styled in a way that made me feel empowered. You are beautiful, I whispered to myself. You are worthy. I thought about the journey ahead. I wanted to explore new things, meet new people, and rediscover the passions I had set aside. I wanted to fill my life with positivity and joy. Tomorrow, I'm going to take that painting class, I told Clara, who had joined me on the video call. I've always wanted to try it. Do it, Clara cheered. You'll love it, and I'll join you if you want. Yes, let's make it a fun day, I replied, excitement bubbling up inside me. I want to fill my life with color again. As the night went on, I thought about self-love. It was a concept I had only recently begun to understand. I realized that true empowerment comes from within, from embracing who I am and what I have overcome. I was ready to love myself, flaws and all. I pulled out my journal and began to write. The words flowed easily as I poured out my thoughts and feelings. Today marks a new dawn, I wrote. I am not defined by my past or by Ethan's betrayal. I am reclaiming my identity, and I will thrive. With every stroke of the pen, I felt a sense of peace settling in. I was no longer the woman who let fear and hurt dictate her life. I was a warrior, ready to face whatever came my way. As I closed my journal, I looked out the window at the stars twinkling in the night sky. Each star felt like a promise of new beginnings, of hope and endless possibilities. I was ready to embrace my life, to step into this new chapter with open arms. Tomorrow is the start of something beautiful, I whispered to myself, a smile gracing my lips. I was stronger than ever before, and I was ready to shine. Share this story if you believe that self-love and empowerment can help us overcome even the toughest challenges. Leave a comment about a moment when you reclaimed your strength and transformed your life. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one.